I'm not going to take too long on this sales training. It's something that kind of occurred to me that I wanted to share a little bit. I was training some of my new guys in the sales department and going over and politely commenting on one of them had just done a presentation, and I made the comment, how long did it last? And it was like an hour and 15 minutes. And I said, I take it you just wadded up your paper and threw it away then. Overstating a point, as I often do, to, hit it with a sledgehammer because I want to make positive. The nail goes all the way through the board. I don't care what the board looks like after, type of deal. And of course, why is that? And I just said, I've got a theory that if your presentation lasts less than an hour and a half, you wasted your time. If it lasts more than 2 hours, go ahead and spend the money. And that has held up pretty well for me over the years. Hour and a half and longer presentations usually ran about 50% close ratio. Over 2 hour presentations, dang near 100% closing ratio. I would even get arrogant enough to say 100% if you count the person that closed, wanted to sign, but couldn't qualify for a loan. It's still closed. So less than an hour and a half, man, barely even 25% closing ratio. So that was my experience. I've gone through that before. You go back and watch old ones if you want to get there. But my point was, he was like, well, why is that true? I said, because you can cover everything you need to teach someone about you build it. You can cover everything in great detail, in great quality, in great fashion in less than half an hour. If you want to just hit it pop, 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 you get done in 10, 15 minutes. So in other words, if you do yours amazingly well, that's a half hour. What's the rest of the time about? You're talking about weather, politics. It's about them. It's about them. I've said this a million times. It's about them. But as I continued the discussion with this salesman, and he was kind of sitting there, and I could tell what was going on in his head is, I'm not weird like you, Bob. I don't think I'm a therapist for every person. I'm not the minister trying to sit there and break down people's mindset. And I know, and it's true, and I am strange and quirky. It is what I love. And if you love it like I do, it's going to be great for you. If you don't, man, we all have our interests, and you got to go the path. But I'm sitting there thinking that's not relevant because the stats and what I'm saying are still true. The fact that it's about the client is still true. And then it hit me a different way to say it. Spending time with the client, about the client, doesn't have to just be personal. Even I, as much as I talk about it, don't spend that much time on just the personal. I find the more I can learn about the personal, the more I enjoy the people. It is a thing about me I enjoy. But it also helps to open them up to give me what your ultimate goal is, and that is to learn about their project. Time spent discussing their project in detail is time spent talking about them. The core essence, if you remember previous trainings that I've said, is it is not about you, it is about them, period. They don't care about you. They don't hate you. Don't take that the wrong way. They just don't care about you. Never has any of these people been tempted to come and spend an hour in your office hanging out with you just because, man, I heard you're a heck of a guy to hang out with. It's never happened. Doesn't mean it's not true, but they have too many busy things in life. Nor have you done it with them, yada, 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 yada. They are there about them, their goal, and their project. Talking about their project is talking about them. Talking about what they're interested in, which is why they're there, is talking about them. Talking about how it relates to you build it is a great blend. Hopefully a lot of it does it. But you have got to get into their specifics. How many people walk in and half the time don't even pull it out, or you didn't know it was there until they do, and they've got their little photo scrapbook where they've been cutting out of magazines, printing off the internet, taking photos of what they like. Or they got a plan on their phone, or they printed something off, or they've got a full set of blueprints they can bring in. That's what I always say, at least in my presentations. When I'm filling out that very first page and I ask about plans, that's the very first rabbit hole. That's the very first side path I want to run down. I've hardly ever had somebody say, I got no concept of what I want. You know what my response almost every time is? Show me what you got. And let's run down that puppy and let's give you a rough, wild guess budget. And let's discuss it. Let's get lost in you and your project. So I will rephrase my earlier statement. A proper presentation lasts over an hour and a half. If 30 minutes of it is talking about you build it, an hour should be spent talking about the client, usually their project. And over half that should be about how that project and you build it blend together. The other half should just be about their project. Give value for their time. Pour into them. They have given you time. You pour your time, your knowledge, your ability into them. And I know this is hard, for you new guys that don't honestly know anything, with love I say this, get off your fat, lazy fannies and learn it. If you're at home, I don't care that you want to watch TV. I don't care that you worked hard all day. Turn on the TV. Watch HGTV. Go buy some magazines. Get on the road. Sit in a spec meeting. Listen when other people in the office are talking about deals. Break down plans. See what you can do and get there. Salesman, if you don't have anything of value to give, how are you going to pour into the client enough that they got enough value of to sign with you? If you don't know squat about it, how are you going to spend an hour discussing their project? Metaphorically? Oh, my wife likes blue also? You got to have some knowledge to give. And no, I don't care where you work. Trust me, you've got people with a ton of knowledge. You can't be a construction guy if you build it if you don't have over 100 projects or 10 years under your belt. You got a lot of knowledge. You got resources here. You got old videos here. Soon you have online training here. You've got to get enough knowledge, direct and indirect. And by the way, yes, HGTV is a great place to get indirect. This old house is a great place to get indirect. That daggum Yankee Carpenter wood shop that blows my mind ever since I've watched it for 30 years is a great place to get indirect knowledge. Plan books, great place to get indirect knowledge. House, that irritating new website that's all over the place, is a great place to get indirect knowledge. Constantly, constantly, constantly learn and study. Talking about their project is talking about them. Not being able to talk about their project, holy cow, you better be an amazing therapist. I covered too many subjects. I hope at least one of them gave you something to think about and learn from. If it didn't, thank you for giving me your time anyway. Have a great day, guys.